should say like live.
Yeah, we're live now, actually. Okay. All right, hey guys, welcome to another episode of the GEEKLORD podcast. Today is episode 2, and today's going to be a little bit different. Normally we talk about news, talk about just basically all kinds of news in the geekish world that we have. And today I have our lovely, lovely guest, Rachel Wagner. Rachel, would you like to say hello?
Hello.
So Rachel has a review channel on YouTube. It has so many videos. It's unbelievable. I think I counted it today. It's somewhere over 1,000 or something like that. So many things, and I'm so excited because I never really delve into animated film. If you guys watch my channel, you know I'm more of a live adaptation kind of guy. So for me, having Rachel on is fantastic, and it'll be a little bit different because I don't normally talk about animation. And I'm so excited to have you on, Rachel. Thank you again.
Oh, I'm thrilled. It's gonna be really fun.
Yep. So today we're going to start by talking about the new upcoming film Arctic Justice, and we have Jeremy Renner. It's been announced that he will star as the lead role in the movie, which will also include Alec Baldwin, Heidi Klum, John Cleese, James Franco, Angelica Houston, and Omar Sy. The film's hero, his name is Swifty, and that is who Jeremy Renner is going to be playing. Now, Rachel, are you looking forward to this movie?
Not really.
No.
This looks very Norm of the North-y to me.
Yeah.
It looks very, and not that low budget CG animation can't be worth it. I don't think a movie necessarily has to be that pretty to be worthwhile.
Of course,
sometimes I think we can be a little harsh on those that don't have the budget, but I mean, I don't know. I think the Poppins look kind of cute.
They do look cute, don't they? And I see what you're saying though about the Norm of the North kind of feel. It's kind of disappointing too because Jeremy Renner hasn't really moved out of these serious roles, and I feel like this is a first for him, doing a voice acting role. And I like to see favorite actors of mine spread their wings and do different things. And I'm kind of hoping, I'm rooting for this movie. I wouldn't mind seeing him do well in an animated film. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I like Jeremy Renner. I think he's a good actor. I don't know if he has done any voice work that I'm aware of.
I don't think
so. But it does have a great cast. You can't argue with this cast. It's got, John Cleese, Alec Baldwin, James Franco, Angelica Houston. I mean, that it's a great cast. So, that is something that's just, I think maybe I see a polar bear movie and I'm just
Norm of the North. Yeah. You know what? I don't think anyone else blames you for that, really. Norm of the North was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
But, hey, I always try to have an open mind.
Of course.
About anything, and but it could be.
Yeah. But yeah. So next, moving on. For our second story today, we're going to be talking about the Comic-Con 2016 Warner Brothers confirmed animated film about Pepe Le Pew. Now, I don't know if you know this. Max Landis, he's one of my favorite film writers, the writer of Chronicle. He's written Victor Frankenstein, also American Ultra. He will be the writer for this film. I'm just curious, are you excited for Pepe Le Pew or...
Interesting. I do like Chronicle, but I kind of find Max Landis, as far as his writing, to be kind of overrated.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think he's really... I don't think that I particularly like Chronicle because of the great writing.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of smug and obnoxious, to be honest. But
yeah. No, he is.
He
is. He's a little bit pretentious sometimes.
Yeah. But I love Looney Tunes. I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan. I wouldn't say that Pepe Le Pew is one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters. I can't think of any short with his that I just love, like the great Daffy Duck shorts or Bugs Bunny shorts. I think it's kind of strange that Warner Brothers, you know, they announced they're doing what's his name? The Speedy
Like
Gonzalez,
animated.
what's his name? Yeah, the they were doing the Mexican little, I can't think of his name.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of his name either. Speedy Gonzalez?
Is that it?
I think so.
I said it, and then I was like, and then I doubted. Yeah, Speedy Gonzalez. They announced the Speedy Gonzalez movie and then Pepe Le Pew movie, and it's like, why are they picking both of their sort of ethnic stereotypes?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a good
Why
point.
don't you do, like, of all the characters, like, why are you picking the ones that are sort of the most sort of culturally insensitive?
Yeah, you know what? That's really funny because I never even thought about it like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't
I
know.
never even took it that way. Huh?
I'm more
Yeah.
excited, to be honest, probably for the new Space Jam movie, which is long talked about, but I don't know if we'll ever really get it. But
Who do you? Okay, even I know we're talking about Pepe Le Pew, but for Space Jam, as the Michael Jordan replacement, do you think it should be LeBron James?
yeah, I don't think there's any question. I
Okay,
really don't. I mean, I
good.
think he
Yeah.
he is he's the, in my opinion, as far as just one particular player, I think he is
Hmm.
the Michael Jordan-esque player of our era.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not huge into sports, but that's what I think.
Me
And
neither.
I
But
think
yeah.
he has the charisma that Jordan had. I
Right.
think that he has some experience in movies.
Yeah, he does. I forget what film it was.
Trainwreck. I didn't
Trainwreck.
see
That's
it,
right.
but I heard he was quite good in that, actually.
He actually was. He did for you know what I mean. Like for someone who's not generically an actor,
Right.
it was a good. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Um,
And so I to me, there's no question
yeah.
that he would be the one.
To be honest, the going back to the Pepe Le Pew, it gets me excited because the last really Looney Tunes thing we've seen, when was it? I think it was 2006. With
2003, Looney Tunes
was
Back
it?
in Action,
Yeah. Was that 2003?
which like nobody saw. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited because like I said, I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan.
Hmm.
So if they can, because I don't know if they've ever really had a great Looney Tunes movie,
I don't think so.
and
No.
so it would
Yeah, no, for
be
sure.
wonderful if they could actually make that happen.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully we don't see Brendan Fraser, but I mean, what can you do, right? Um, so moving on, our third story today is despite all the fantastic reviews this stop motion animated movie has received, Kubo and the Two Strings to date has been Leica's weakest launch. It hasn't made a lot of money.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? This is kind of upsetting, and I wish
Yeah.
this movie really would have done better.
It's
I
very frustrating. I think
hmm,
that it comes down. I said in my review on my
yeah.
channel that I thought it would be a tough sell
Hmm.
because of the different culture and because it's not a typical sort of narrative in the way that, say, in Lord of the Rings, where there's this obvious kind of thing that they're searching for, and there's all these, kind of obstacles that stop them in destroying the ring, and it's just kind of this obvious sort of journey. In this,
Yeah.
it's more like about sort of the relationship and the things that he experiences along the way.
Right.
And you're never really sure exactly kind of what he's looking for or what he's doing, and I actually like that about it. I
Okay.
thought that made it kind of unpredictable and different.
Right.
But I don't know, it just doesn't have like the wisecracking sidekicks or the really cute. There's nothing about it's really like cute. And we live in an age where Minions makes $1 billion.
Which is
And
insane. But sorry, yeah, sorry
yeah,
for
no,
interrupting.
and so it is depressing
It is.
that a movie like The Angry Birds makes way more than Kubo and the Two Strings. That
Mhm.
I thought it would be a tough sale, but I didn't think it would be that tough of a sale. And
Right.
it's frustrating for me because when a movie, say like, I don't know, like 50 Shades of Grey or something comes out,
Yeah.
like all I hear is people complaining about the lack of morality in
Mhm.
Hollywood and how there's not any good family films or whatever that come out. And I'm like, this month we've had two that were stellar. And
We
Pete's
have.
Dragon and Kubo and the Two Strings, and nobody sees them.
Yeah.
And so that's very discouraging, and it's like, yeah, it's really easy to complain, but
Right.
when people really do put out good work and people don't see them, then I don't, it's like complaining about our elected leaders and not voting.
Right. Yeah. No, it is 100% because I mean technically this is a sequel, or it takes place in a world that has already been touched upon, right?
No.
No? Okay, sorry.
No,
I
it's
did hear
entirely
that,
new,
but
and it's based on sort of Shinto Japanese folklore,
right.
and it just doesn't have, like, say, a Mulan that has the quick talking
Oh, Mulan
Mickey
is
and
amazing.
Murphy character,
Yeah.
or the songs that kind of like drag people to the theater.
Hmm.
A lot of those things it just doesn't have, which makes it a harder sell. But like I said, I thought that it would come in similar to what Pete's Dragon came in at. It. Like, I think Pete's Dragon's opening weekend was like 21, 22.
Yeah, it was.
And
I think it was 21.7 or
yeah,
something.
and so I thought that's what Kubo would get. I really did. And
Yeah.
so when it got 12, I was shocked
I was
that
shocked
it did so
because
badly.
yeah, and not only that, like for me, I wanted this movie to make 30 mil or more. And I know that's a long
Oh yeah,
shot.
I wanted it to. I
Um,
realistically, I thought that it would be more like 21, 22, but
mhm.
yeah.
And to be honest, when I was thinking about like how low it would go, I was like, there's no way it's going to make less than 15. So
Yeah,
I'm like, I was really, really surprised at
me
the,
too.
and see, the thing that really caught my eye about this movie was how the creators were saying how, yeah, it's stop motion animation, but we want to take what has been done in the past with the actual stop motion, and we want to take it to that next level. And I think
Yeah,
they accomplished that. I really do.
me too.
They
There's
had
no
that.
doubt.
Yeah, no, really, because they had the 16-foot skeleton creature statue that they had actually built in their studio, um, and used that, and it's unbelievable to watch the behind the scenes. I don't know if you've seen any
Yeah,
of it or not, but it's insane the amount of work and time that these people have put into this movie, and to make such a beautiful movie too. Like this movie is actually gorgeous, and it's just a shame. It really
yeah. I
is.
mean, I hate to say it, but I just think that we have. I don't know how much better this movie would have done if it had been released by Disney or DreamWorks. I really don't.
Hmm.
I mean, you had. I just feel like we're in for whatever reason, a box office that only wants computer graphics
Yeah,
animated films.
and
That's
3D and all.
all
Yeah.
they want. I mean, you look last year, we had Shaun the Sheep movie, which was adorable, and
Hmm.
and it should have, like, it was everything that Minions should have been.
Right.
It was adorable and cute and about
It
a little
was.
sweet adventure, but it made $18 million in total in their whole run.
Right.
That's
That's
just
crazy.
unbelievable to me. And I just don't think, for whatever reason, that the U.S. has a appetite for anything that's not CG.
Right. No, you know what? I 100% agree.
And I totally understand why, because originally they were going to make Moana, the Disney's upcoming film,
Yeah.
in hand draw in 2D animation,
Okay.
because
I I didn't even know this.
yeah, Clements and Musker, that's what they've done.
Hmm.
But the directors, but they changed their mind, and I totally understand why they would do that.
I do
Because
too. And we're gonna touch up on this later, but I honestly would love to see Mulan live adaptation. You know, I
Mulan,
yeah.
yeah, that's one that I am more positive. I wish that they weren't doing any of these live adaptations, but we'll talk about that coming up. But
Yeah.
if I had to pick, that would be one of the more positive ones, I say.
And sorry, for our last two, we have two sequels that have been confirmed. One is for Secret Life of Pets, and the next one is for Shrek 5. Are you
Yeah, and we
looking
got also
forward?
the Angry Birds too.
Yeah, that was announced. I didn't even want to bring it up because, to be honest. But okay, so you know what? And Angry Birds 2. So Shrek 5, Angry Birds 2, and Secret Life of Pets all have a sequel confirmed. Are you excited for any of these three?
You know, I have not been a huge fan of the Shrek movies. I'm sort of an oddball.
Okay.
It's just not my favorite kind of humor.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a big fan of the DreamWorks comedies in general.
Okay.
Probably my favorite is actually Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a weird favorite. And I personally I liked the Croods, but I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of because basically the Shrek movies are parodies
Of
of
movies.
yeah, they're parodies. They're like
Yeah.
Airplane or they're like Naked Gun, and those are brilliant, examples. And the first two I think are good, but I just think they're a little overrated.
Okay.
But they're not bad, I wouldn't say. But I thought the third one was terrible.
It was. Is that the one with Justin Timberlake?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was god awful. I don't
It
think I
was
finished it.
awful. I watched it in the theater and I
Oh
was just
jeez.
miserable. I thought it was horrible. And then the fourth one I didn't even see because I really didn't like the third one.
To be honest, neither did I.
And so
yeah.
I don't know. I sell this this fifth one. I have no interest in it at all. But DreamWorks does have a track record of good sequels.
They do.
They had. I'd say that Kung Fu Panda 2 and 3 are better than Kung
How
Fu
to Train
Panda
Your
1.
Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 is better than How to Train Your Dragon.
All the Kung Fu. I don't know if you enjoy them, but I really love the Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah,
movies.
yeah. I think that 2 and 3 are better than 1 though.
I 100% agree. Actually.
I actually like the third one best. I'm kind of weird that way, just because the adoption message really hit home for me.
It was fantastic, and not only that, I found for the third one, from 1 to 2 to 3, I found that the story got better. I found the characters enjoyed making it more, and the animation and action in the film got better as well.
I agree. I agree. Yay! Most people don't agree with me on that. And with the Madagascar movies, I actually haven't seen any of them, but I think that I've heard that the third one is the best. So they do have a track record of kind of improving upon themselves when it comes to their sequels. So, good writing, anything can be good, but
yeah, I'll say
on the
this.
whole, I sell it.
I'm not buying it, but I'm not completely selling it either. I'm gonna wait to see a trailer. Yeah, but I'm not buying Angry Birds 2.
Definitely not.
The first one was terrible. Like we said about the Kubo and Strings, it's a shame that a movie like that can do well in this film market. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. I guess for children it makes sense, but
just for the box office it makes sense, but that's about it.
Yeah. How about this?
Wasn't that bad.
No,
the animation actually was quite good, but it just. I thought that my opinion on Angry Birds was that I didn't laugh enough. I didn't think it was that funny.
Right.
And I thought it had a really strange message.
It did. It really did.
Like I was going into it expecting it to be a Grinch type story or a Scrooge type story with someone starting angry and then learning to be happy. But instead, it's like the opposite.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
He teaches everybody in his village to be angry.
Yeah, and to attack people who are trying to live with him. Yeah. It was really weird.
I said before that I thought that they mixed up anger with confidence.
Yep, 100%.
So that was really strange.
Yeah, no, it was. Other than the Angry Birds and the Shrek, for Secret Life of Pets, are you buying it or selling it?
I'm not a huge I'm gonna seem like a grumpy goose. I'm not a huge Illuminations fan, but I will say that I think that Secret Life of Pets was actually their best movie that they've ever made. I am not as high on the Despicable Me movies as many people are, and but I thought that Secret Life of Pets was enjoyable. I thought it's not. It is kind of. It is similar to Toy Story, and I get some of the complaints, but overall, I had a decent time watching it, and I did think the animation was pretty good.
It was different too.
Yeah,
It's not. It wasn't the. It wasn't. It didn't feel similar, and it didn't feel like they were taking tropes from other animation styles. You know what I mean? It felt like they whole it felt like a really original movie all round. To me, except for what you said about the story and the Toy Story remark. I do think the film was cute. It really was.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good word to describe it.
and it was fun for kids. My brother and sister saw it. I didn't see it with them, but they told me it was good and they enjoyed it. So I can see why it made over $400 million. But yeah, I guess I am buying this sequel. Actually, I think I am.
Yeah, I buy this the most out of the three that we talked about for sure.
For sure, 100%. Especially because Shrek has already had 4, and Angry Birds. I don't know how many really want to see it. But yeah, so guys, that was.
Let's mention we do have the chat room open.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to make comments or whatever, you can join in.
For sure. Yeah, so if any of you guys have any comments or anything about the news that we just talked about, and you have any questions or anything like that about the news we just talked about, I'll give you guys about a minute to post, and you can post any questions or comments, and we can definitely go over those for sure. So all of you guys watching now, if you want to do that and go in the side chat bar, feel free to leave a message, and we'll bring that up.
I will be watching.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting world. You know, a lot of people say that the Kubo should have opened at a different month and not in August, but it's a tricky thing because almost every month of this year there's a major animated release. You know, and so it becomes tough. You know, I mean, because May you had Angry Birds. June, you had Finding Dory. You're not going to compete with that.
No. Nope.
July, you had Secret Life of Pets. Not going to compete with that. You know, I mean, and you go back April, you had Zootopia. Jungle Book was still going. I mean, March you had Zootopia. April you had Jungle Book. Yep. You know, you have to go back to February.
There has been
a month.
Yeah, there's been a lot of heavy hitters recently in children film and animation.
Yeah, January you had Kung Fu Panda 3. So I mean, really, February would have been the only other time.
Agreed.
From August, and it probably wasn't ready. So they had to either decide are going to release it in August, or they could have waited, I guess, one more month to September. But I don't think that would have been any better, because then October you've got Trolls coming out, and then November you have Moana not competing with that. You know, so it's just like, I guess in December you have Sing. So every month, pretty much, you have a major release. And so I don't think that there was some magical time that we could have released this. I mean, look at the BFG was slaughtered by Secret Life of Pets.
It was
Finding Dory.
What do you think about that? Do you like? I'm honestly not surprised at how it did.
I'm a little surprised at how he did because of Steven Spielberg, and I was not a fan of Bridge of Spies, and I saw how good that did.
Right.
And then, got all these Oscar nominations, and I thought it was weak, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of thinking that his name would really bring in a lot of people to the BFG.
It's too bad.
It's a beloved novel, children's novel, but so I'm surprised it did that bad.
Do you think if they had advertised it as a Big Friendly Giant instead of just BFG, because they only had BFG, right? On all of their stuff. Do you think it would have done better? Or
could be. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of wondering if these days everything kind of has to have a minion in it to get kids in the theater. I mean,
some kind of like a dumb character.
Yeah, or like it has to be sort of cute. And there was nothing in the BFG that was cute. And I liked the film. I didn't love it because I felt like I felt like it had moments of magic. Yep. But I think Pete's Dragon is much better as far as just being a tight story. And but it's another movie that didn't have any. That's not cute.
It's a shame. Pete's Dragon had quite the cast.
Yeah, I loved Pete's Dragon. To me, it was like a new sort of, you have all these great movies in the
Yeah.
history of children's movies that are, you know, a boy and his dog.
Yeah, and
this
then you
is
have a boy and
basically
his
a boy and
dragon.
his dragon.
Yeah, and I think it's such a fun idea too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
So
looked in the
anyway,
side chat.
yeah.
Someone named Tom Gunn says his 4-year-old has no idea who the Looney Tune characters are.
Yeah, that breaks my heart.
It does, right? That breaks my heart too. It's a shame because I feel like it's characters that we've grown up watching, and like they're so innocent, but the innocence in the characters makes the fun when they do bad things, I find. And it really teaches us things about
Yeah.
ourselves.
They're complete. I have the complete golden what's it, 6-7 disc um, a master collection of
Right.
Looney Tunes, and I
Yeah.
love watching them. They're so brilliant. It's the amount of actual sort of jokes, and they do every kind of humor in Looney Tunes. You've got parody, you've got satire, you've got slapstick, you have, you know, every kind of physical comedy. You've got dialogue that's hilarious. I mean,
Exactly.
just the writing was on point. The amount of story that they could pack into a 5-minute short is just phenomenal. I think that they are better than anything that Disney ever did as far as shorts. And I love the old Goofy shorts. I love that. But I would take, if I had to pick, I'd pick Daffy over Donald any day.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Lose my Disney cred saying that, but it's true. I just think
I love him. Daffy Duck is awesome.
Yeah.
I used to like, what's his name? The Rooster. Well, I say it, boy. You know that? Yeah. He used to be my favorite. I used to love him.
Yeah,
or
he's really good.
the Manhunter, the Martian.
Yes, love
He was
him
cute.
too.
Sorry. So we're just going to move on now, guys. Me and Rachel have been talking about a topic that we've been wanting to talk about, which is basically DreamWorks animation versus Disney's older and original pieces versus what Pixar is doing nowadays. And Rachel, do you want to start us off, or would you like me to?
Yeah. So, I don't know. When I think, you know, you always have these rivalries as far as in entertainment. You have Star Wars versus Star Trek, and I think in the world of animation, you have DreamWorks versus Disney.
Yep.
And you know, I guess part of the reason why I've never been as big a fan of the Shrek movies as others is because I feel like they really hurt DreamWorks, in my opinion, because DreamWorks had been doing really bold things. And, you know, they've been doing, you've got your Prince of Egypt, you've got your, you know, you've got these movies that, Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, movies like that were gorgeous and challenging. And then I feel like Shrek was such a huge hit, you know, one of the biggest movies ever made. It actually won the Academy Award.
It did,
all of that. And I think that then they have, you know, their comedies kind of after that, I feel like suffered because of it, you know, that I just so wish if I could run the world, I wish that, you know, like a Prince of Egypt had been the massive breakout hit, you know, and so then that studio would have kind of gone on that direction as opposed to the Shrek direction.
I agree. Yeah. You know what I will say though about DreamWorks? I know we're talking about stop motion later on. I find they have done some pretty superb stop motion films. Chicken Run is one.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit different because those are actually Aardman films, and they were just distributed by DreamWorks.
That's true.
So I don't really give them it's sort of like I don't give Disney the credit for Studio Ghibli films. They're just distributing them. They're not actually making them. Anyway, but go ahead. Yeah, Chicken Run's brilliant.
Yeah, no. To you, what is your favorite DreamWorks movie to date? Or
my favorite DreamWorks movie is still Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt,
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorites.
It's a good movie. Yeah, I remember seeing that when I was a kid, and I loved it. I think my favorite though, it's really hard because I think they've done some really good. They've done some films.
No doubt, yeah.
Megamind is one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, me too. I think it's much better than Despicable Me.
It is 100%.
I do.
And I would even compare the villain from Megamind to the villain in what's it, The Incredibles. It's kind of similar.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that.
Anyway, so and I also really enjoy the I thought Monsters vs. Aliens was a lot of fun as well. I think that was really fun. It had some smart ideas as well. Like the moment where the little cockroach has to do Dance Dance Revolution to stop the machine or whatever from blowing up. Yeah, I think they've done a lot of good films.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite, Prince of Egypt, I love. And then I also, like I said, I love Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and I love the Rise of the Guardians. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
sort of
not
like
seen that actually.
It's sort of like a Avengers Junior.
With is that the one with the
sort of
Easter
like the
Bunny?
heroes of childhood,
Right. Okay.
that are like superheroes. You've got Santa Claus and your Tooth Fairy and your
that's cool.
and your Sandman and and it's really beautiful and creative, and Jack Frost and stuff like that.
That does sound like fun. Yeah. So next, we're gonna move on to the Disney classics. What do you when you watch the Disney classics? So I'm talking like Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp. Anything really before the 70s, although I will include the Princess and the Frog.
Okay.
To me, that movie really resembles what the classic Disney films tried to portray.
Interesting.
With their, you know what I mean? Like with their princess movies and just the overall feel of the actual movie itself. What do you think about Disney animation? And
I could go on a long time. I mean, those are just some of the best movies ever made, in my opinion.
100%.
But for me, it's interesting because people associate Disney classics with the princess movies, but I think a lot of people don't realize that there's really only 3 before Little Mermaid. Because you only had Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty. And so there's not as many princess movies as people really think.
I know. It's funny because when people think of Disney, they automatically think of princess, 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 right?
Yeah.
Whereas you have
just that we had a bunch in the 90s, and so people, because you had in the 90s, you had Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, Mulan, all the kind of princess type stories. But I think one thing that's really impressive about the Walt era is that he was such a bold thinker.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, when he had such a big hit with Snow White, it would have been so easy to just pumped out a bunch of other princess movies with cute little sidekicks and everything like that.
Yeah.
And we've just been talking about all of these. We've got Angry Birds 2, we've got whatever, and I get it, and that would have been really easy for him to do. But what does he do? The next film, Pinocchio. Could it be more different?
I know, right?
Snow White. I mean, totally different, totally crazy, totally, wonderful. It's one that's really had to grow on me, and I kind of love it as an adult, and it was a little too scary for me as a kid.
Yeah.
But and you have Fantasia. I mean, so bold.
And you know what? A lot of people don't realize this. This is my favorite Disney classic is actually Fun and Fancy Free.
I love it. Yeah.
Not a lot of people realize that that's actually one of the first films ever to incorporate cartoon and real human beings interacting with each other.
Interesting. What do you love about Fun and Fancy Free?
I don't know. It's a really strange movie. You know what I mean? Like it is. It's really weird. Where the ventriloquist man, and then you have the kids talking. It's all black and white, and then he goes into the story about Hermit. What's his name? Sorry,
Bongo.
Bongo. Bongo the bear. Yeah, that's right. And then you have, I think, at the end of that, there was like the giant story as well, right?
Yeah, with Mickey and the Beanstalk. It's not. I totally love that. That's a favorite of yours. That's awesome. There are definitely great moments in that. It is very weird. I mean, there's just something about like a grown man with puppets that are going to a birthday party of a little girl that's just like, what? And
I know. And like, for anyone listening, this movie probably sounds really freaking weird.
it's pretty weird.
You really have to watch it to enjoy it.
But I love Crazy Donald
Mm-hmm.
in there when he just like goes.
Oh, I know, right? Oh, I forgot about that. That's right. Where he
he's
seems like drunk or whatever.
Axe.
Yeah. He gets all mad, starts chopping, his eyes go all wide, and oh, geez, that was some funny stuff.
Yeah. But the package era. But anyway, what I was gonna say is that so he was just a bold thinker, and he was somebody who was always trying to push boundaries. He was always trying to make things better and different and challenge his artists in ways, and to the point where sometimes he butted heads with people. He was a tough boss in some ways, and but I think that's why you just saw them continually kind of get better and as far as challenging the movement of animation. And during those during the wartime years, they were just basically surviving. And kind of cobbling together whatever they could. But I think there's a certain insanity in those package films that's kind of entertaining. My favorite of that era is not Fun and Fancy Free, but is called Make Mine Music. And it's so weird. My favorite on there's a short called The Whale Who Sang at the Met. And if you haven't seen it, check it out because it's really,
I will check
really
that
great.
out. I'm just looking at the list of the short films on there, actually. There's definitely some interesting ones on here. Out of all the either classics or, in comparison to that Walt time period, do you think all the newer Disney releases are either living up or meeting the feeling that or experience that we received when we first were able to watch those Walt movies? Do you think it lives up to that? Or
that's a tough question. I think that people are in some ways a little too hard on the current revival era, they call it here for Walt Disney, where we tend to put the Renaissance era, the 90s films, on a pedestal, that they are perfect and whatever. And I love those films, don't get me wrong. But I think that there are a lot of strengths to people tend to nitpick. I feel like these modern films quite a bit that they don't that they, like for instance with Frozen. People are very hard on Frozen.
What's really funny? Sorry to interrupt you. Can I tell you something that's really hilarious? I have not even seen Frozen. And people probably crap on me for that. But sorry, as you were saying.
No, you're fine. It's just that, like, people will say, oh, it's got so many plot holes. And like, literally, Beauty and the Beast has tons of plot holes.
It does.
I love it. It's one of my favorites. Beauty and the Beast is one of my absolute favorite Disney films, but The Lion King has problems. It's not. And so I think that to discount Frozen just because it has some plot holes, I think is very silly. And if people don't like it, people don't like it. That's fine. But I don't know. I think that. What do I think Walt would think about these modern films? I think that he would like them. I think he would love a movie like Zootopia. I think.
You know what I think he would love, honestly, is do you remember Atlantis?
Yeah.
I think he would love that movie. That movie is ballsy, I think.
I think
it's
so
really
too.
out there. Even the character designs, the style of the movie. That's one I think you would appreciate.
I think so too. And I mean, as far as Princess and the Frog, it's an interesting one for me because when I first saw it back in 2009, I was so disappointed. Yes, because at the time, I wasn't as studied a Disney fan, and I felt like it was very loud and very cluttered, and I never have liked Naveen as a character. I've always felt like Tiana was so much better than him, and I didn't
Yep.
see the transformation that you see with, say, the Beast
Okay.
as a character. I didn't see him kind of become humble enough or learn enough to be worthy of this incredible character in Tiana.
Yeah.
And so,
that's a good point, actually. I like that.
Yeah, and so I've always struggled with that movie a little bit, but I've grown to like it more. Also, some of the I like the villain as a character. I think he's very well animated and very well performed.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the more sort of, as a Christian, some of the heathen aspects to it, maybe a little uncomfortable.
I can
with
see that.
the
Yeah.
voodoo and stuff. But
Yeah.
but I've grown on. It's grown on me. I've grown to like it a little bit more. And but at the time, I was very disappointed in it because I was hoping it was going to be like a return to the the Renaissance films that I had loved so much. And but
you know what I will say?
interesting.
I think after the 2000 point, Disney animation, I think it was trying to get away, not necessarily trying to get away, but trying to create new ideas, and trying to move away from that Renaissance period. You know what I mean? It was well known for that, and I think they wanted to be known for newer things, which is why I praise movies like Treasure Planet. I really like Treasure Planet. I remember seeing that when I was a kid and just absolutely loving it.
Yeah. Well, Lilo and
Ratatouille.
Stitch actually did some things that not very many Disney films have done. I there's hardly any, oddly enough, because you think Disney, you think kids, but there's almost no actual children in Disney films.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is weird.
And I really praise all of the. I know this is going to sound so strange, but I love. Ever since I was young, I loved all the Winnie the Pooh movies. I think they're all very well done. Obviously, the best one being The Adventure for Christopher Robin. To me, in my personal opinion.
I think for me, it's the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Okay. Is that the one where Rabbit comes in with all the Easter eggs and drops them all over?
It's the one. It's the kind of the original sort of package film where they have the blustery day.
Okay.
And Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Pot.
Right.
And then they have Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2. Those three shorts that they combine together. And
it's a shame. I feel like kids nowadays don't even know who Winnie the Pooh is.
It was It was interesting. I was babysitting for some friends a couple last year or so, and I don't have a ton of stuff to do in my house, so we ended up watching a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And
it's always good though, right?
And it was interesting because I put on Jungle Book, which I loved as a child, and nothing. They were not interested in it at all. And then I put on Mickey short, and they loved it. They love Mickey still. There's just something timeless about Mickey. They love it. And then
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then I put on Winnie the Pooh. They love that. Absolutely love that. And then I put on Frozen, and their eyes, just these little girls, eyes just lit up, and they loved that. And so, it's interesting. I guess if I was going to give advice of what I think Walt would say to these Disney animators now is I would say that he would want them to be a little more bold as far as in the they've been bold as far as setting. They've been bold as far as some characters.
Yep.
But I think it would be nice if they were a little bit more bold in their storytelling as far as plot and narrative, and that's something that he was definitely very willing to do. I don't think that your movie necessarily needs to have a message. I don't think it needs to be something that, I don't think there's a problem if it has a message, but I think you can be a little braver when it comes to messages. I think you can be a little more brave as far as not necessarily feeling like your plot has to follow a sort of, you can be a little more brave as far as having a nonlinear story.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I liked. I was saying about Kubo, about how I was never really sure sort of where they were going or what they were looking for, or, whereas something like Zootopia, it was really bold in a lot of ways, but as far as the messaging and the plot,
it was kind of in your face. Did you find that?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the most bold.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
And
That
the
was.
villains have been pretty lame.
Yeah. I feel like
And
it's funny you say that because I feel like all of the Marvel movies have had lame villains, and I guess it's associated with Disney now, right?
yeah, I guess that's fair. And
No, I'm just trying to make a little joke, but
yeah,
yeah.
no, that's definitely true. And I mean, I just think that having sort of the reveal of the villain, it's sort of like with Marvel having the villain in a suit is getting a little old.
Yeah.
Let's we sort of know, you know, after having a villain reveal in Zootopia, a villain reveal in Big Hero 6, a villain reveal in Wreck-It Ralph, and a villain reveal in Frozen. Let's try to be a little more creative.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, we're running out of time. I just want to quickly touch note because we do know now that Pixar was heavily associated with Disney film. Now I'm pretty sure they're more so on their own after Cars 2. For all of the production, sorry, from Pixar, do you enjoy Pixar film?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge. I mean, they
Yeah.
are officially merged together. They're a part of. I mean, they are their own in the sense of they are in the sense of their story development and their product as far as things, but they are. It's different. Like where I was saying with Aardman, that's a distributor relationship that they had with
Right.
DreamWorks.
Disney has the creative aspect as well,
Whereas
right?
Pixar, it's actually part of the same company as Disney. So it's just a different situation. But
Okay.
yeah, it's so funny to me because I feel like so many people when Inside Out came out were like, Pixar is back. Pixar is, and
I thought that, yeah.
if
No.
only every studio could have a dry spell as Pixar's had. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I think because they've had such amazing masterpieces, they're ones that are less masterpiece, but still like solid entries. Like,
Okay.
I think that I think we are a little bit dramatic. Where if it was another studio that produced the same product, say as a Monsters Incorporated,
Yeah.
I mean Monsters University, I think we would be way nicer to it. But because that perfection from Pixar, we're pretty hard on it, and I think that especially with The Good Dinosaur, I felt like people were way too harsh on that movie.
They were, weren't they?
Yeah.
I feel like they try to do something a little darker than what they're normally used to.
Yeah,
and it's a shame.
Yeah, I felt like it had the feel of a old-fashioned Disney movie. I felt like, to me, it had elements of Pinocchio, it had elements of Dumbo, it had just sort of those old school sort of hero's journeys kind of elements to it.
You know what? The journey really reminded me of The Lion King, actually.
Yeah, it reminded a lot of people of The Lion King, but I don't mind that when themes are sort of repeated if it's executed well, and I thought that it was. I liked it. I really enjoyed it, and so I don't know. I was kind of baffled, to be honest, when people were like, "It's horrible," Really? I enjoyed it.
Sorry, you, for you, what are your top 2 movies for Pixar? I know this is probably really, really hard.
Yeah.
But what are your 2 favorite Pixar movies?
My 2 favorites for Pixar, my favorite is Up.
Really? Okay.
Up is my favorite movie. I love Up. It just speaks to me about the spirit of adventure and going on being able to sort of forgive yourself.
Okay.
Or and sort of being able to deal with regret in life. And that's I think why it moves me so much. And I just love it. And then my second favorite Pixar movie is Toy Story.
Toy Story. Oh, okay. Yeah. Why do you love Toy Story so much?
I love Toy Story because I think it is about. I think anybody can relate to that feeling of somebody else coming in, kind of honing in on your turf, and feeling jealous, and dealing with situations of jealousy and envy, and the journey that Woody and Buzz take together, I just think is great. And I like Sid as sort of a villain. I think most of us can relate to, him as a character. And I love the music. I love the moment when Buzz realizes that he's just a toy, and
I know. Yeah.
You are a toy, and and I think it's funny, and I think the voice cast is perfect, and I still think as much as I really admire and love the sequels, I still think that the first one is my favorite. It was the most heart to me.
I'm glad that those were your two top, because they're actually different from mine. To me, I'd say my favorite of all time Pixar that I can rewatch countless times over again would have to be Ratatouille. That shows, see, to me, that hints that no matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter what you look like or what size, or you know what I mean? Like, no matter who you are physically or mentally, whatever you love, you can go as far as you want to take with it. And that's really what resonates with me with that movie.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I say with Pixar, I have Up as my favorite.
Yeah.
I think it'll always be my favorite. Just it makes me think of my grandpa, and I just have that emotional attachment to it. But then I have like a 10 pile up for second place.
True. My second. I don't think much people would say this. I feel like this movie has kind of been forgotten. Could you guess what I'm gonna say?
Now that you started it that way, Wall-E?
Actually, A Bug's Life.
Oh,
A Bug's Life is my second
Bug's Life.
favorite Pixar movie.
Interesting.
It's so much fun. There's a vast amount of characters that you can either incorporate yourself with or imagine yourself as, and then think of your friends as the other ones. It's all about friendship and finding friends in the weirdest of places, and always trying to be kind to people. And that's really what that movie is. And it's all about finding love in the weirdest places. Obviously, the guy is poor. Well, he's perceived as being a low-life ant, whereas he falls in love with the princess. Which is kind of similar to ants. Let's get real, right? But I really love A Bug's Life. It's so
interesting
great.
choice. Good choice. I say it's definitely underrated. I love, my favorite scene in Bug's Life is when they put on that little play.
Oh, the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have the fake blood. That is hilarious. No, that's definitely a great scene.
But they're all so great. I personally, I don't even hate Cars 2. I know it's like horrible to say, but I think it's fun. It's made for kids. I enjoy it. But what do you think of Finding Dory? Curious.
Finding Dory, I think it was overrated.
Okay.
To be honest, I think Finding Nemo is a movie that was outstanding. Even though it's not in my top 2, I still love it. The character of Crash, the turtle, will always resonate with me because he's such a rad dude, you know what I mean? Surfer. I think the first one was phenomenal. It was almost a perfect movie, to be honest. The voice casting was absolutely amazing. This is really one of those, it's kind of one of the first films we've seen take a chance at making a co-star have their own solo movie. And to me, it didn't hit the same way.
Interesting.
I honestly, at the end, I was when you find out what you find out, that made me sad. Obviously, it was very saddening to know how her and her parents parted ways. I don't know. To me, it just wasn't. It wasn't as good, I guess.
I wouldn't say it's as good as Finding Nemo by any stretch of the imagination. But I actually thought that it was one that when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that was okay. But then the second time I saw it, I noticed sort of a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe.
things, and so I
Yeah.
liked it a little better.
Mhm.
I mean, I still gave it an A. I think it's a really good movie, uh, but I don't think it's as good as
No. Yeah.
Zootopia or Kubo and the Two Strings for sure.
Agreed.
So,
And to
but
be honest, I think the story, I think all around it lacked a little bit of luster that some of the Pixar movies have had. Um, to be,
there were a
you
couple
know,
things I liked about the story. I liked the fact that they didn't they didn't just try to repeat what happened with Finding Nemo, in the sense
yes,
that they
yes,
didn't just have her meet somebody and then that person become her companion and then go with her to wherever they were going to find her
right.
parents. It's like she meets this one character and then she meets another character and then she meets another character and she meets another character, and I kind of
Yeah,
like that it was sort of unpredictable in that way. But I think, and I also really liked the fact that you had this message about disability and
yes,
sort of what would
yes.
Dory do. I thought that was really nice.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I guess again, kind of going back to what I was saying about Disney as far as being a little. I don't think that you necessarily need a message. I think they can be a little bit more bold because I don't know, like people can find their own sort of message
Yeah.
in stories, and
Hmm.
so I think that they maybe should not be quite so worried about sort of what is the message that we're trying to share
Agreed.
with. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
You know what else I liked about it, to be honest? From the first one, we have them in the sea at the beginning, and then they get locked up for like very short amount of time, and then they're back in
Mm-hmm.
the sea. In this one, I liked how they were locked up for a majority of the movie.
Yeah, and
It
you did
wasn't in
get
the sea, you know what I mean? It
yeah,
was a different perspective
you did get a lot of different marine environments. You
and
did think
animals
that
as
the
well.
kind of each habitat in the marine life habitat, and I did think there was sort of a weird sort of subversive element to it that I liked.
Hmm.
That I think that there's like how polluted everything was, and how
I
like
know, right?
there
Yeah,
was something going on at that marine park. Like there was
yeah,
like why was everybody getting sent to Cleveland? Like
and sick, and
it was
yeah,
supposed to be rehabilitation, and yet I don't know. It didn't seem like there was that much going on there. Like there was a
yeah,
certain degree of like I don't know that I thought was kind of interesting,
yeah.
and I thought it was I do think it is one of Pixar's just as far as pure laughs. I laughed a lot. Like
Yeah, me too. With
when
the
that
Sigourney Weaver reference
yeah
there.
when that truck drives into the that song that was
Yeah,
pretty funny.
it was. Sorry, just to touch note, really quickly before we move into our last topic.
Hmm.
Out of the three that we just talked about, DreamWorks, the Disney originals, and the Pixar, if you were to pick one branch of the animated genre, well, I guess I don't know if I would call it an animated genre, but out of
Uh-huh.
those three, which films do you enjoy the most? I
Oh
know this is
man,
really
I mean
tough,
it's hard
but
because there's so much more. I
I
think
know.
ooh, that's really hard. Oh man, gotta go with Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, as much because I love Pixar. It's tough,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Disney girl.
I
I gotta
agree.
go with Disney.
You know what I feel though that those Disney classics and that Renaissance period has is that those movies, no matter what, will always be in our memory. Um,
Hmm.
we can incorporate that into different things of our life, and I agree with you because that is my pick as well. Actually, I feel like we'll never forget those movies, whereas maybe some of the Pixar ones, a lot of people have forgotten some of them already. Like I said, Bugs Life, right? And especially for DreamWorks, a lot of people have forgotten Ants or Chicken Run, or as you said, Prince of Egypt. Um,
Hmm.
Whereas, like, no one has forgotten Pocahontas, no one's forgotten The Little Mermaid, or even Oliver and Company, or The Aristocrats, or Robin Hood, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many, like
I mean, Disney
101.
has definitely had its dark days for sure. There's no doubt
Okay,
about it.
yeah, yeah,
But but there's just something with Disney. I just feel like there is something for everyone. There are certainly comedies. There's dramas. There's coming of age stories. There's fairy tales. There's fables like with Zootopia. You have something like Wreck-It Ralph kind of thrown in there. You've got a comic book story with Big Hero 6. There's just something for everybody. There's really artistic things like with Fantasia.
I
So
can't
it's just a
watch
special studio, and I
that.
think that comes from Walt's vision that he
Mhm.
started of really creating fantasies and making people happy. I mean, that's
Yep.
what Walt wanted, was to.
And he really did that, and he's done that for generations and generations to come. So, yeah, no, that's good. Sorry, I know we've just done probably about half an hour on that alone, but I just wanted to get in. How much? I know you have a screening. How much time do you
I'm
have?
good.
You're
I
good?
don't have to leave that until about 5 o'clock. So
Okay, cool. So I just wanted to quickly delve into the remake slash sequels of Disney animated classics into live action. Now, I'm gonna name off all of the live action remakes that we've had. You'll probably laugh at a few of these. I'm going to as well, because
now
our
you're
first.
making me regret my choice of Disney.
No, no, no. You know what? I think we'll both have a chuckle at the first two,
All
because in
right.
1996 we had the live action remake of 101 Dalmatians.
Yep.
And then of course in 2000 the 102 Dalmatians. Did you enjoy these movies?
Yeah, I think that Glenn Close is amazing.
Yep.
She's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm weird, I'm a strange person, but I actually like 102 Dalmatians a little bit more than 101 Dalmatians. Most
I
people
do
don't,
too.
but you do?
Yeah, it was a little bit more fun, I think.
It's just more Cruella focused, and I think that's what's good about the movies. And so I think Glenn Close is good, and 102 has a lot more of her.
Yep.
So I don't think it was a good decision to not make the puppies talk.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they should have done it like Babe.
Yep.
Where
Where
they
the
talk.
animals. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I completely agree. So
Because
next
all that good dialogue in the original film, where
come
you
from the
got to know
puppies.
Pongo and Purdy and the little puppies and everything, and Sergeant Tibbs, and you didn't get any of that. But it's fun. I enjoy both of them. Hugh Laurie, you can't go wrong.
I agree, and like we didn't even have like two cows talking,
Yeah, that's
which is a
right.
really cute scene from the original, right? Of
And
course.
it was very, I call it the Home Alone syndrome in the
Yep.
90s. It's like everybody was convinced that kids loved they loved like that kind of slapstick violence.
Yeah.
And so instead of the more sort of real tension that the animated film had, where like in the animated film, those puppies come so close to getting caught so many times. Like the brilliant scene when they're trying to get the puppies are covered in the charcoal and they're trying to get them onto that truck.
And they have to squeeze through, and they're all like trying to push each other on.
Yeah, and she's like watching them as they get on this truck, and that there's just nothing that's even close to as tense. Like in the live action, they're falling into vats of gunk and getting hit on the head and stuff like that. But
that's
fine.
true. So the next one that we have in 2010 would be Alice in Wonderland. Obviously directed by Tim Burton, starring Mia Wasikowska,
Good job.
Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham. I know that was a hard one, eh? And Helena Carter, Anne Hathaway. What did you think?
I'm not a big fan of this film. I know people really love it, and I totally get it because it is a certain aesthetic, and if you like that aesthetic. But to me, it just lost all of the nonsense, all of the fun, and you've got this prophecy, and there's just the chosen one, and she's got to face up against the dragon, and there's Crispin Glover is like really creepy, and I think the original animated film and the 1933 film, which is quite brilliant actually as well, that they capture that sense of sort of insanity and fun in the novel, which I really love the novel as well.
Right.
And that, it's just Alice being introduced to all these different characters, and there's no need for this sense of a story.
Right.
That it's just, you just have fun with her as she's being introduced to all these crazy things. And
Yeah. Do you think Tim Burton tried to make all the characters seem way obscure than they should have been and not focus on the story more, I guess? Do you think he tried to create this trippy world of Wonderland and focus too much on that? Or
no, I wish he focused more on that. I think that what he focused too much on the story. That's what I'm saying, is that I think it would have been much better if it had just been Alice meeting all these crazy creatures, and that Tim Burton could create. And I mean, I'm not really a big fan of his aesthetic in this movie, with like floating eyeballs and just stuff like that. But I could imagine it being good. But I just have no interest in this bland, boring girl facing off against this apocalyptic battle scenes and stuff. I'm like,
she is pretty boring, in the live adaptation.
Like, I want to see Alice at the tea party. I want to see her
having fun,
playing croquet. I want to see her, as big as a house, and I want to see her crying, rivers of tears, and going to the what is that, the caucus race and stuff like that. Like, I want to hear the walrus and the oyster story. I don't know. So I think that's where he got wrong, is that it should have just been something that was surrealist and crazy, and not worried about trying to be the next Narnia.
100%, actually. That is right on the tee, I think. I don't think he let Alice have fun in the movie.
Exactly.
I'm going to skip forward in the list, and I'm going to go right to the sequel, actually.
Okay.
Through the Looking Glass.
I hate Maleficent. I'll just say it right now. We don't have to talk about it, but it's one of my I hate every choice they made in that movie.
I'll go back to Maleficent. But what do you think of Through the Looking Glass?
I thought that it was in some ways more like visually interesting, and but it was just it wasn't a good movie. It's in one of my worst of the year.
Yeah.
I think that they explain things that nobody cares about. Like, why do we need to know about the Queen of Hearts' big head? Like, nobody cares about that. Again, like, this is just, it's telling a story that, like, we just want to be immersed in this world. We just want to have all these crazy creatures. We just, we don't care about the Queen of Hearts backstory. Like, this is so ridiculous. And I mean, and if you think about it, I guess spoiler alert, but if what happens in the movie is the cause of her becoming bad over these tarts and this lie, then that's like just so ridiculous, because
I know.
It's one of those things that if people had a 5-minute conversation, then everything would be better, because
that's 100% true, actually.
And how annoying is Anne Hathaway in that movie? Oh my gosh.
I know.
The way that she's like floating all around all the time, like, what is going on? And I think the biggest problem in the movie is that the whole point of the film is that Alice is such great friends with the Hatter that she's willing to do all of this and risk all of this for him.
Yeah.
And I never got that in the original film. I didn't feel like they were particularly close.
No, not at all. I agree. I honestly don't think my personal opinion, I feel the first one was better. I don't think this movie was very good at all.
No.
But moving on.
Brighter, and so I can see how some people like it better. The aesthetic is a little bit brighter, but yeah, I'm with you.
Did you? So we're gonna go back to 2010. Did you ever see The Sorcerer's Apprentice?
I did not. I have not seen that one.
I
can't comment on it.
Neither did I. I don't think I want to comment on it. It was supposed to be based on Fantasia.
I'm kind of curious because it has Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah. But you know what? You know who his
Interesting.
apprentice was? What's his name? Jay Baruchel. I think he's the the kid from This Is the End, the skinnier Canadian guy. It was a really weird pick for that character, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, moving on. You were talking about this a few minutes ago. It would be Maleficent. Please, I'd love to hear you rip into
My
it.
worst of the year of 2014. It's one of the few rants that I've gone on. And to be clear, like I don't have. I mean, I wish that they weren't doing the remakes. If I had enough money and could stop them from doing these remakes, I would.
Okay.
But I'm not opposed to remakes as a principle or something like that. Like, because we have the original, it's not going away. That's fine. I'm not one of these babies like you saw with Ghostbusters this year.
I know, right? Like,
and complaining and whining. But the thing about Maleficent that made me mad is that they're saying that they are trying to say like, oh, you've only heard half the story. This is the real story. And I just felt like every change they made was bad.
Yeah,
and
it was.
This character that was pretty dynamic and bold and different, and made her into just this wounded, weepy, annoying woman. They ruined the fairies.
And she
they made
wasn't
them
even
into horrible creatures.
Yeah.
And they're already like a way underrated hero, I think, in Disney.
Yeah.
And all the artistry and everything, because Sleeping Beauty took 10 years to make. Like it was a masterpiece for these people, and so for them to just hack that way at it really bugged me.
Yeah.
And I thought that the actor who played King Stefan was terrible. And I thought that whole like turning him, why when you have a great villain, why would you replace him with replace her with some horrible lame villain? You know, like
you know what's a shame too is it was Charlton Copley, the guy from.
Terrible, I thought.
I agree. It's a shame because I feel like they didn't use him to his ability. He's in District 9. He's also in Hardcore Henry. I don't know if you've seen that.
I heard about that. I didn't see it because I'm very emotion sensitive.
Oh, really? It's quite a joy. But I'd understand that 100%. But yeah, I feel like they didn't use him. And I feel like the changes they made to Maleficent's character didn't help the story. It actually hindered it and hindered her character.
Way worse.
And it's a shame because everyone says that with this movie they wanted to make a strong female, and it's like, excuse me, you didn't really give us that.
No, not at all. And then they try to throw in the throw in the sort of Frozen thing at the end, where it's like she's really the true love kiss, and it's like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
They ruin the Philip, who was so my favorite. He's my favorite Disney prince, and I don't know, just every change. I think the only change that I thought was kind of interesting was that the way that they kind of did Diablo, the crow or whatever. But like that last battle scene in the original Sleeping Beauty is so awesome between Philip and Maleficent as the dragon. And the fairies give him the sword of truth.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And even before that, when Philip is chained into down in the dungeon, and Maleficent says, like so much for true love, and it's just a great scene. And in this, she's just basically like spying. I mean, these fairies had, in the original film, the Maleficent doesn't know where the fairies are. For till 16 years, she's looking for them. With her goons and everything. And so they're obviously like doing a lot of things right. They're obviously pretty smart, these fairies. And in this one, literally the day they move in.
Yeah.
And also, this is a nitpick, I admit, but it really annoyed me. Is that they go to all this effort to make the blessing scene very similar. in appearance and everything to the classic
Right.
film, and yet they change instead of instead.
Or you mean the line change?
Yeah, instead of having
Yes.
Meriwether
Mhm.
changing the curse from death to sleeping,
Yep.
they have Maleficent cursing her to sleep.
Yep.
Until true love's kiss. That makes no sense. Why
That
would
pissed
you
me
do
off
that?
too. That really made me angry too.
Like,
But
if you are so angry that, like, this person has taken your wings, has basically, like, raped you for for all intents and purposes.
For real.
Like, and you're feeling so angry, like, you're really going to curse his daughter to sleep until true love's kiss? Like, I said afterward, I'm like, I wish somebody would curse me with that, like, that sounds great.
You know what's really funny though? So in preparation for this, I have this IMDb list for all the live action remakes. They don't even have Snow White's The Huntsman down here.
Well, that's not Disney. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's true. Anyway, so sorry. Moving on from Maleficent, I'm glad that we both had that nitpicky thing to say. But Cinderella is the next one.
Yes.
Did you enjoy this movie?
I loved Cinderella. I really thought that it worked. I think part of the thing with Cinderella is that I'm much more open to different versions of Cinderella. I'm a huge Cinderella aficionado. I have a whole section on my channel of just reviews of different Cinderella over the years. And I'm just, because we had Ever After, we had The Slipper and the Rose, we had all these other versions. So I'm not as tied to just the Disney version, 1950 classic. And so I think that's part of it. But I really liked how they stayed pretty close to the original classic, to the original story. Yeah. But they made changes that were meaningful, I thought.
Not only that, I think they did a really good job at casting. Kate Blanchett, of course, right?
Oh my gosh, so good.
And I think Kenneth Branagh did a great job directing.
I think so too. I really liked how they showed the a little bit of time of her father and Lady Tremaine together.
We don't really see that in the original.
Yeah, in almost any version of Cinderella. So that was unique. And I liked that it kind of explained that she had lost her true love, so that made her sort of resentful of other people. And I thought that was really cool. And just the message of kindness and courage I thought was wonderful. And something, I've been talking about how you don't need as strong a messaging in films, but I think that in that case it just worked with Cinderella, because Cinderella is just such a gentle story.
Right.
And I really liked how they did the scenes with the transformations and everything like that.
Yes.
I thought it was really good.
You mean with like the pumpkin and yeah, that was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah. And I liked her and the prince. I had good chemistry, and I liked the art design, the production design. I liked all the costumes. So yeah, it was a real winner for me. I was grateful that they didn't have like,
you know who it was, right?
Chipmunks type mice. I was worried that they were going to do that.
Yeah. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
I don't.
Well, if you did, your boy, the prince, was actually the mighty King Robb of House Stark.
Oh, I knew that he was.
Yep, that's more for the listeners out there, just so they can have a nice little laugh.
It's good because the Game of Thrones cast has not had a very good movie.
You know what? I will say this: Emilia Clarke has not.
No.
Kit Harington hasn't either.
And the Gods of Egypt guy. Ooh.
You know what though? He's in Black Hawk Down.
Oh, is he? Okay.
And he's not in there very long, but he is quite fantastic.
Okay.
He's also in Oblivion, which I thought was really good. He was the sniper guy.
Okay, I haven't seen that one either.
With Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman. Yeah, no, he did well in that. But no, I see what you're saying though. They have not had the best outside experience.
So
but moving on.
For Cinderella. I really loved Cinderella. I thought it was great.
And the next one we'll talk about is one of my favorite movies of the year, and that would be Jungle Book. I thought this movie did a great job, even though it's a live adaptation. Obviously, it was heavy CG, I found the CG to be absolutely beautiful. I thought the cohesion between the animals and Mowgli was amazing, and all the voice actors did a great job. Um, yeah, what do you think about this movie? I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I think that I'm not on the masterpiece level that I've heard people talk about it
It's
as
definitely not. Yeah,
this
no.
masterpiece, and I gave it a B plus, which
Yeah,
is
that's.
pretty
I,
solid grade.
I think that's what I gave it too.
I
Actually.
personally don't like it as much as Cinderella, and maybe it's just because I'm a little more invested in Cinderella as a story.
Hmm.
But I felt like I felt like it was stunning, and I felt like they made changes that I really liked. I also am not as tied to the 1967 classic, even though I really love it, because it's a book, it's a novel that I have read, and so I guess I'm just more open to
Yeah.
different interpretations of that novel, and I thought that they did the ending so much better. I like it so much better than the original film, because I liked that Mowgli was more sort of proactive in it. He was not just like hypnotized by this pretty girl,
Yep.
which I hate that in the original. And I don't know, so he comes up with the idea. He figures out how to, fight Shere Khan. I thought that was cool. And
Yeah.
I liked him so much better as a character in general. Like, he's just way less whiny, he's way less annoying. And I thought that, of course, it just looks spectacular. There's no doubt about it.
Hmm.
It's pretty amazing.
Did you feel that any? Did you, Kate? Can I ask you something? Did you know that there was a Jungle Book movie from '94?
I do.
Live
I
adaptation.
think I saw it way back then, but I cannot remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe who was in it. Lena Headey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
That's another
she's
Game of Thrones person, right?
another Game of Thrones person. I find that really funny.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a
I
good movie overall.
Yeah. I think if I maybe a little bit nitpicking, I think that the middle gets a little slow,
Hmm.
and I felt like
Yeah, it
some
does.
of the attempts to work in the sort of fan service to the 67 film, to the animated film, didn't really work to me with the new
Okay.
tone and the new style.
Hmm.
I thought Bare Necessities was okay, but I really didn't like their portrayal of King Louis, because King Louis is supposed to be cool, slick kind of salesman. We already have the big mean villain
Yep.
character,
Yeah, I know.
and
He did seem like a villain, didn't he?
yeah, he was just too mean, and I didn't think it worked his song at all. I didn't feel like he would sing at that time with that new character and the way that he is.
Hmm.
Because in the original, he's trying to charm him. He's trying to,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
get him on his side. And so it makes sense that you'd kind of sing and a little bit there. But so I didn't really like the King Louis stuff. I thought that was a miss.
Okay.
And also, I felt like they were sort of a miss with Kaw's character, because, she's just basically there to, like, fill in story.
Scarlett Johansson's character.
Yeah, she's just
Yeah.
basically there for like a few minutes to tell Mowgli's dad's story.
And to be
But
honest, the only reason why they picked her was for the marketing, of course.
yeah, I think so.
I don't think she really changed her voice in any way. Nothing really. That's
Like, I think,
yeah. I don't know. That's just how I feel
yeah, I
about
think they
that.
thought they were being bold picking a female voice for Kaw,
Mhm.
but in the original, he's just more of a character. Like, he's
Yeah.
a little bit more funny. He's a little bit more menacing in a certain way.
Hmm.
And he's just way more. And I just felt like Kaw in this one was just there to just to give Shere Khan motivation, and
Yep.
to tell Mowgli's dad's story.
Are
and
you?
that was it.
Sorry to interrupt you. Are you a fan
Okay.
of the Lord of the Rings?
Mhm.
I felt like Ka in the Lord of the Rings was more so like Wormtongue.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like even though Wormtongue wasn't smooth, he could always talk to anyway. He could talk anyone into doing anything.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
yeah,
that.
but
Yeah,
anyway,
I know. He just was sort of like, he almost reminded me a little bit of, almost like the Harry Potter movie, where he's a snake, where Voldemort's a snake.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, but I think it's a tiny bit overrated.
Yep, agreed. I would give it the same rating, B plus. And I haven't seen this next one. It's going to be the last one we'll talk about.
Okay.
So I'll let you talk about it. It's Peach Dragon. That came out this summer. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit earlier on how it did. It didn't do too hot. But what do you think about it? Did you like this movie?
I loved it. Loved it. It's in my top 5 for the year so far. It was a movie. It's not particularly. It's a predictable movie. But it's a classic formula done so well.
Yes.
It's this boy and his dragon, and he's raised in the woods or whatever. But I just felt like it had so much heart, and I really loved all of these people, and I loved spending time with them, and I loved Elliot, and it's a very divisive design on Elliot. It's definitely more to look like more like a dog, but I don't know, it worked for me. I just felt like it was, because the original 1977 film is okay. I like it.
I agreed.
But I think it's got lots of problems.
Yep.
And so I just really appreciated that Disney went with a very indie director. They kept it at a small budget. I think that they got great performances out of the 2 children in this movie. And you just sensed this bond between Elliot and Pete. And it just reminded me of old school movies like Old Yeller and Sounder. And I'm not saying it's necessarily as good as those, but it had that feeling, and I haven't felt that way in a movie in so long.
Cool.
And your Black Stallions, your Where the Red Ferns Grows, those kind of movies that take children seriously and aren't afraid to deal with kind of tough topics and be somewhat somber in a way. But I felt like it was very hopeful, and it was very joyful in its own way.
Cool.
And it was Disney magic back again, and made me really happy.
Well,
so
that's good.
My favorite.
I'm really glad you enjoyed it. That's good. It's a shame though, as we were talking about before, that it didn't do as hot.
I was really glad that they kept the budget so low though, because I think that it'll actually just barely turn a profit, because it depends on how big the marketing budget was and everything. I don't know but so far it was only $65 million to make, whereas something like the BFG was, I think, like 150. So it's a totally different situation. But I knew that going into the summer, I knew that either the BFG, Tarzan, Legend of Tarzan, or Pete's Dragon would be sort of a surprise. I knew one of those, and I was wrong. I thought it would be Pete's Dragon just because the remakes have done so well.
Yep.
But it ended up being Tarzan.
Do you like Tarzan?
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't a Tarzan movie to me. I thought as a kind of a period piece and a colonial piece, it was fine. But
to be honest, I had a lot of problems with it. There's a lot of just directing mistakes that I noticed. A lot of screenwriting errors, I think, that should have been changed.
Yeah, that's the story of this year.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I just thought there was just not enough of him swinging through the jungle.
Yep. And I think he got his ass kicked a little too many times.
Yeah, and he's buttoned up in a shirt way too much.
And honestly, I think he spoke a little too much. No offense, Alexander Skarsgård, but
I gave it a C+.
Honestly, I watched this at the drive-in with my lady friend, and she was sleeping when I looked over. And this happened to be the scene when all the buffalo not killed, but started chasing after the boat going in the ocean, and he was running on their back. And I said, I think it's time for me to go. And I didn't finish it.
Huh?
I did. I couldn't. I didn't enjoy it very much.
I don't blame you.
Like, there's the one scene where Margot Robbie brings up the fact that Christoph Waltz's mustache is too
Oh,
long
he
on
was
the
so
one
bad.
side. Yeah,
He must be great in those Tarantino movies
he
because
is.
every
Have
movie
you?
I've seen him in, he's been
Yeah.
horrible.
Honestly, do you watch? Have you seen all of the Tarantino ones?
No, I have not. They're a little too violent for me.
Yeah.
But I I have seen him in Big Eyes. He was terrible in that. I've
Hmm.
seen him in Legend of Tarzan. Terrible. I've seen
Terrible.
him in Spectre. He was. I thought he wasn't really given much of a
Mediocre.
chance to do anything in
Yeah.
that, but I didn't think it was very good.
Yep.
And so I'm like, man, he must be good in those
He
Tarantino movies.
honestly, he really is. He is. He's really
Everything I've
good.
seen him in, he's been horrible.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because the big joke going around is how Tarantino seems to be the only one to get a performance out of the guy.
Yeah, seems
Which
like
I mean,
it.
it's kind of a shame, but
So I gave Legend of Tarzan actually a C. Now that I look at my review, gave it a
true.
C.
I gave it quite a low mark. I don't think it was passing for me.
Really?
To be honest, yeah.
I just said in a way it kind of reminds me of Man of Steel. That wasn't my Superman movie, and this isn't my Tarzan movie.
Sorry. I know you have to go in like the next few minutes. If you could just give me a sentence or two. I know this has nothing to do with animation, but there's been an actress recently who has got completely pooed on from public outroar about her casting as Mary Jane, and that would be Zendaya.
Yeah.
I know you have strong opinions about female actors and how they're portrayed in film, so I really wanted to hear a sentence or two on what you have to say about that. Actually,
I think that there's nothing that I'm no comic book expert, but as far as I've seen and what I've read and things, is there's nothing in the Mary Jane character that is intrinsically white.
Yep.
Or that has to be white.
Right.
And so if the character is well written, if she is a good actress,
yep,
then I don't see why there's a problem. I think that it's great actually that we are giving parts in major studio movies to people that are diverse in their background. And all I want is the movie to be good. Yeah. I don't really care. It's not like I thought that the Ghostbusters movie was a masterpiece or anything like that, but I thought it was certainly better than a lot of the other blockbusters that we've gotten this year. And certainly I had no problem with any of the casting. I thought the casting was really good.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just think that that it's a good thing that we're expanding our ideas about who can play certain characters. And the whole point of acting is taking on something that's different than yourself.
Yep.
And it's not like we have a biography of President Obama or something like that and played by a white man. Like something like that would be ridiculous because it's central to his character of who he is. Even somebody like Black Panther, it's sort of essential to his character.
Yes, because of how that character started, right?
He's the son of an African, king. So it makes sense that of course he would have to be African in coloring, and so I think that it's just whiny, annoying fanboys who are just so resistant to any kind of change.
Yeah.
And when I complain about something like Maleficent having all of these changes, it's not that I would have necessarily minded all the changes if it had been in a good movie, but the movie wasn't good. The character development wasn't good. The writing wasn't good. The acting wasn't good. So like.
I agree. I mean, like if this movie comes out and Zendaya is terrible, then I guess we can say, why did you pick her? Right. But we haven't seen
anything to do with the color of her skin.
Yes, right. Well, thank you, Rachel. That was terrific. I really liked your answer there. And I really want to say thank you on behalf of the Film Nation and all my subscribers and everyone who's listening. Thank you so much for being my guest today. I've had a lot of fun talking about animation with you, and just talking about movies with you.
Oh, I had a great time too. And if you want to check out my channel, it's a Rachel's Reviews on YouTube. It's Smiling LDS Girl on Twitter. I'm almost at 1,000 subs, so give me a subscribe. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, guys, go check out Rachel. Where else can they find you, Rachel? You on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. It's at Smiling LDS Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Smiling LDS Girl Reviews on Facebook. If you want to check that out, I do weekly Disney canon reviews. This week I'll be posting my review of Hercules, and so that will be really fun. And I have reviews of music and movies and all kinds of fun stuff. So
yes, your channel is amazing. I've seen the work you've put into it, and it's outstanding. There's such a vast amount of content that you have, and I think it's wonderful.
Thank you. I try to post every day, and I have a blog as well, 54 Disney Reviews called.
Nice.
So I have a lot of fun with it.
But yeah, so thank you again. This has been so much fun. I would love to have you on another time, actually, if you would ever like to do that. I had a lot of fun today. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening today. I'm your host, Josh Owo, also the host of Films Go, and this is the Geek Lord podcast. I'm your Geek Lord for the day, and have a good day, guys. Take care. I shall talk to you guys later. And Rachel, have fun at your screening tonight.
Thanks. Going to see Sully.
But yeah, so it was a lot of fun, Rachel. I had an awesome time with you. Thank you again, and I will be in touch.
All right, sounds good.
For sure.
Yeah, let me know when it gets uploaded.
Yeah, I will.
And I guess I'll send you a Dropbox link.
Okay.
To this Audacity file, so
if
you want to use it, you can.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right.
And yeah, I'll be in touch with you shortly.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
All right, take care.
Bye.